Now, what happens is the water flows from north to south from Okeechobee and is the beginning of all water for the Everglades. Now, the first thing you'll probably notice on this map, this is the road that we came in on, guys. This was the Tamiami Trail that cuts through the state. You see that we got a lot of water here. We don't have a lot of water there. This is a big problem. Really big problem. So, what we're trying to do now with the bridges that you guys came in over across through here is we're trying to allow some of that normal water flow to come back into the Everglades. Now, this has created a lot of problems all the way down to the coast, guys. Even the salination of the water in all of these fisheries has changed. That's a huge problem. A lot of the fish in these areas kind of died off. Some of the crustaceans and things struggled, had to move into different areas where the salination changed, and so the fisheries have been hurt more so than anything down in here. Now, what else you have happening is, so we had enough fresh water moving down this way for so long to continually keep pushing out into this area and lower the salination here. Now we have salinated water pushing back up into the land. So we have salination of the Everglades, and we have trees like mangroves and other things like that leaking all the way into here where they were never meant to be before. All these plant species that thrive in salty water, whereas all the stuff that was in here in the freshwater slough does not thrive, or freshwater slough I should say, sorry. Now, everything that is outlined in green here is Everglades National Park, which is insanely big. It's 1.5 million acres, but that doesn't even cover, when you guys were looking to the right on your way in,
Yeah.
you know, probably 500,000 acres that way. So I like to think of it as about 2 million acres worth of marshland. And that doesn't even count the big cypress preserve, which honestly should just be part of Everglades National Park in my opinion. So the Everglades National Park and the cypress are different by one distinct thing. Anybody have an idea? It's pretty easy.
Elevation.
A little bit. That's actually, I'll let that pass. Two things then. We'll let that pass because that was actually a good answer. Cypress trees. We don't have any trees out here, guys. So today, for the most part, we're going to be in a marshland, which is the difference between a marsh and a swamp is trees. The cypress area is a swamp. Now, let's go on to some fun things. I talked about water movement, plants, animals, everything like that struggling. Let's talk about some cool things. One thing is the wilderness waterway, guys. Pretty cool. This is kind of like the Appalachian Trail Everglades style. You can take a kayak through all of these islands. It takes about 2.5 to 3 weeks from what I've heard from people. And you just have to load up all your food, all your water, and everything. And there's little chickies that you can stop at. And chickies are little like Native American shelters and things that are built out on there. You just pitch a tent and you know, you can act like you're Tom Hanks out on an island for the night, right? It seems like a pretty fun thing to do, but you have to have all your own food and water, and there is no one to help you along the way. There are no civilizations in here, for the most part. Okay? So, something that you need to be a really good outdoorsman for. You need to go in groups. You need to have an escape plan. All the things. But, anyways. Now let's talk about a couple animals that we're going to see today, guys. Then I'll go over one more geographical feature before we get started. So, take a hard look, because that's the only Florida panther you're going to see today. Okay. I like to be realistic. They are more so up in this area, guys. You have more deer, black bears, panthers up in the northern part of the cypress, and as the dry season comes along, they move south. Now we're in the middle of the dry season, so they're probably getting close to being closer to the road. You'll see the signs for panthers there. Now, we have a lot of other big game animals that we're not going to see, like I said. Whitetail, the deer. You may see one. I've seen one out in this area. They just don't get around very well when it's this wet still. Gators. We're going to see a bunch of those today. I can promise that. A lot of gators. Sun's starting to come out. They're going to be sunny. It's going to be great. My favorite bird, the purple gallinule. They're really cool, and as you can see, they can walk on lily pads, and that's what makes them really cool. They have these really awesome big yellow feet, and the lily pads barely even sink at all whenever they step on them. It's really cool to see. Hopefully we'll see a lot of turtles. Keep your eyes out for those guys, especially these soft-shell turtles, guys. They're the favorite snack of the gator. They're pretty big. They're pretty easy for them to eat until they get to a certain size, and there's some big ones in this canal if we can see them, which I always love to see. Another animal that we're not going to see today, but that I love to cover, is a manatee. Now, manatees may look like a fluff ball of fat. They're all muscle, like almost 100% muscle. So they are working their way. If you wanted to have your chance to see some, they actually do work up out of the 10,000 Islands area into all these tributaries, and then work onto the side of the Tamiami Trail into the canal in a couple areas. So if you go far enough that way and you keep looking, you may get lucky and see them. They come into the shallow water to warm up this time of year. It's not that cold for us, but for them, it's cold. They need to warm up. So they're in there. Crocodiles technically are here. There's one at the very end of this trail. He's a monster. And he actually killed a big gator back there in the parking lot last year that a lot of people got to witness. Pretty wild. We won't be going all the way back. It's about 8 miles deep. But there is about a 15-mile loop here that you can take on a bike. We cover a lot of the really good stuff here. Now, one animal that I want people to keep your eyes up for today. Look for pink wings. For everybody, and if you see it, call it, okay? Let's make sure that we are really adamant about looking for that. These are spoonbills, roseate spoonbills. In my opinion, they're even cooler than a flamingo. And they are pink for the same reason that flamingos are pink. It's because of what they eat. They're naturally white birds, and they turn that way because of their diet. And right now, they're really vibrant, so they're eating really good. It's really cool to see them. Wood storks and pelicans. Those are pelicans here. There's your wood stork here. And then we're going to see a lot of heron species today, which a lot of you guys have already know what a great blue heron looks like and things. Egrets, all that stuff. So most of the stuff on here we will see. There's only a select few things that we won't, and I'm excited to knock them off. As we're out there, ask any questions you see about any birds, and we'll make it happen. We'll also go over some plant species and whatnot too. And the last thing I like to cover is, when you're trying to navigate, if you were a Native American, if you were trying to navigate this, there's one distinct way that you could do it without stars, without the sun, without a compass. And that's by following the southern tips of all these islands here. So they, as you can see, they all taper. Okay, so if you follow the southern tip, you're going to end up here, and then you're going to see that they're going to start to take you out to the coast. So if you want to follow the Everglades to the coast, you can do that without anything other than checking out the islands. And that's how the natives did it a lot. So I think we've covered a lot of what we got there. Let's go see some of it. You guys ready?